We have the great pleasure of having a seasoned facilitator to help us do that. So Diane Koch is in a role as Circular Economy Lead at Environment Network Manawatu, where she supports and coordinates member organisations and volunteers in their circular economy initiatives. This includes Palmerston North Repair Cafe, which is as well as self-organised stream cleanups for groups, and the Sustainable Living workshops. Di is a seasoned facilitator using participatory design, focused on experiential and interactive learning, so let that be a signal to you if you were sitting back in your chair. She strives to learn alongside Indigenous perspectives, focusing on weaving interconnectedness and remembering belonging as an underpinning to foster local resilience, reduce waste, and build circular systems of care and connection. So I invite Di up here and to take over with her prepared, interactive, participatory workshop. I'm just priming everybody for you.
Tēnā koutou katoa. I do need to have a quick time check. Do I have the same amount of time or a little less? Okay, thank you. Feels like an extraordinary privilege to stand here. Ko waio. I'm tangata te tiriti. I'm here. I like to say I'm here because of Aroha, because this is my partner's motherland. I didn't know this was going to be part of my life story 10 years ago to be here. And at that point, I wanted to become tearful, so let me just get into our work. So my partner calls me the bag lady for a good reason. I'm always carrying stuff around. So I have the privilege of taking us into some time which is about digesting our learning, reflecting, tapping into the collective, scratching that itch which is about the marvel of who else is in the room and what do they bring and what other gems can I uncover and who do I need to chat to over lunchtime. But also, first and foremost, how do I just even know what to do? What's in my heart right now? What's in my head right now? And also we'll do a little bit light touch of what my body knows in this digestion kind of process. So in a moment, it's going to be what I'll call deliciously chaotic, which is because we're going to prepare the space together for allowing us to harvest from the collective. And, I forgot to say, sorry, my accent. No Awherika ki te tonga au, nai nei noho ana hau ki horu whenua. So I currently live in a little village called Shannon, and I've been in Aotearoa for 10 years and came from the South Island, Golden Bay, last year to study at Te Wānanga Aotearoa in Papaioia. That was last year. Because I know that the kōwaio is important. So, okay, so the chaos piece is that we're going to move from sitting how we are into putting the chairs into a kind of a circle with this po at the center so that we can move in an agile way, because we're not going to be sitting on those chairs for that much time. So my request is don't go into any delicious, I like that word delicious, don't go into any delicious conversations. Just use the opportunity to stay with yourself and your thoughts and your heart. Get the chairs in a quick circle around the po and put your bits and bobs behind the chair if possible. Kelly, is it possible, or Dana, can I move this computer out of the way? Because I've got a piece of paper that I need to refer to. Or is it going to be tricky if I do that?
It's just all taped on.
Huh?
It's taped. The cables are all taped. Yeah. Is that all right?
Yeah. And if a microphone I'll need now here, so can I take one of these? Thank you. so in my heart. I just need to come into my...
Shut this if you like.
I think... sorry.
Sorry?
Is that on? Is that...
Yeah, I just need to turn it on back there.
Okay. Not yet, but we will. Thank you for that, yeah. Is that on? Can you hear me? You can hear me okay? Good. Just going to create a sort of a pathway to go easily in and out. That was extraordinarily fast. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to invite you to cast your eye on someone that you may have caught their eye somewhere in the day, but someone that you haven't yet met. And I'd like you to walk across to them, and you have to be fast, so someone else might be after that person. And find that person, and then we're going to gather in an inner and an outer circle. You know what I mean when I say that? So a concentric circle what's surrounded by another circle. And come and stand, still with, won't be the power's center, but come and stand around so that we have those two circles. So grabbing someone is the first step, and then positioning yourself standing in two circles. So it just means one of the two in the partnership stands in one circle and the other one stands in the other circle so that you're facing each other. Okay. So quick grab, no hesitation, just go for it. Okay. So the primary thing. Loud enough. Whoa. Te aroha.
Kia ora te whare!
Yeah, that's all.
Still not loud enough. There we go. Oh, you're wonderful. That's it. I just want to apologize because I know. I normally have a lovely tingly set of brass bells, but I've really recently moved and the house is in chaos, so I don't have the brass bells. And in order for us to very quickly move from what's going to be a couple of interrupted conversations, I think it might be, I had this lovely idea from Tricia that to get everyone's attention I could sing. I tried it and it didn't work. Because I thought you could then start singing with me. We could still do it anyway. We did Te Aroha just earlier. So when you see my hand raised, please raise your hand so that we then promptly come to a quiet. But before we go into our first conversation, I'm just going to invite you to be with yourself for a moment. So you can close your eyes if you wish, or you can put your hand on your heart and your belly, or you can just focus on the carpet. And I just want to bring your attention to your heart at the moment. And just it's a noticing practice. Just how are you doing in this moment? You're not going to have to say it out loud. Just noticing yourself. Also invite you to notice what your mind's busy with. Might have sprung with excitement into multiple directions. Just a noticing. And then a noticing of your body, how your body is right now. What your body may know that your mind is slow to catch up on. Thank you. The reason I did that and asked you to do that, and I'm sorry I'm interrupting you out of that now, is because we've had an enormous amount of input this morning. And so it's helpful in this moment if you just know where you are, so that you choose the opportunities to engage with that kind of care. So the first question, and there are so many ways to, just want to check something. The question is things that stood out for you from the sharing this morning. But you can reframe that however you like. things that stood out for you from the sharing this morning, and to be in brief conversation with someone about it who's standing opposite you. And you've got a few moments, and then I'll do this, and then you'll just know you have to continue over lunch with that person if it was too exciting to stop. Okay, off you go. I forgot to, can you hear me? I keep feeling like the mic's not on. What's very important, because there's little time, is that both get equal airtime. And I'm not going to tell you when to change over. So just make sure that you each have a distinct moment to speak. And then I'll raise my hand when that round is done. Okay? Thank you. You can continue a little longer. Kia ora. The person on the outer circle, after a very brief goodbye to your and thanks to your partner, I ask the outer circle to move 3 people to your left. Three people to your left. Everyone at the same time. Outer circle, 3 people to your left. Right. Right. I wish I had those brass bells. And I'm going to again invite a noticing, which is now your head might be even more full, your heart even more excited, your body, not just that noticing, but also it might be that your thinking is already changing. Your perspective is shifting. So come back for a moment to where you are, and then instead of using this time to respond to what's just happened, speak from just coming back to where you are, and then have a new conversation with somebody and allow that shift if it has, if already your perspective's changing, then that happens. But again, make sure you have equal airtime. It's very hard. And off you go and enjoy. Luckily, I've done this exercise often enough to lose that edge around feeling apologetic to interrupt you, because I know there's more to come. But really use this opportunity to recognize that there are marvelous people around this room, and we don't know who's here, and there isn't the time to do the proper whakawhanaungatanga that would ideally allow us to make those connections. So the purpose of the next exercise is to progress us into the next kind of place of where to go with our digesting and thinking and so on. So you're going to get a very brief moment to actually be back at your chairs. So again, a goodbye and a thank you and a to be continued, and to your chairs. Thank you. So now we have a little time to go into exploring the topics and themes around caring economies that you'd really like to engage in and connect around. So I'll say that again. Topics and themes around caring economies that you'd like to actively engage in and connect around. And so how we're going to do this is you'll see a number of marker pens on the floor as well as papers. And most of the papers will have something on the other side. It's just writing. We're reusing paper. And the idea is that you make concise a topic or theme. And the reason for it is that we're shortly going to lay all of those papers on the floor. And so that the writing size needs to be this size. I first wrote the word aroha, but then I thought that's putting a thought into people's heads, and I shouldn't. You can have your own words, so now I've gone and said the word. This size, okay? And the reason for that is that we're going to have a site map, and it's going to give us a quick way of looking at all the different themes and topics, and we'll go from there. So take a moment to get clear, and as soon as you are clear, then come and get the paper and the pen, because there aren't quite enough pens, and I'm just going to trust that it's going to magically work. And I was just thinking of one of my nieces. This is a moment of saying, when there's something delicious in front of you and you go, sharing is caring, because you want your turn. So bring the marker pens back when you're done, and just hold on to your own paper, though, for now. Okay, so get clear, get the paper, and a topic or a theme that you'd really like to engage in and connect around caring economies. Is that clear? I'm seeing some puzzled faces, I think. Okay. Oh, sorry. On your foot. So what is important is that you bring the marker pen back as quickly as possible. My ramble may have confused there, but just bring the marker pens back so that others can use them. Did you want to ask?
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
So the topic or the theme that might around caring economies that you really want to connect with people about and engage in. I'll say it again.
And I will go with another people.
You just write that word on here. You write the words. Yeah. So I'll just to make clear again. No, hold on to your paper. Just prop the marker pen. So the words that you are writing on the paper, just to give an instruction again, the word you're writing on the paper is to do with a topic or theme that you really want to engage in this whole the kaupapa of today around caring economies. Is that good? Okay. No. It can be a phrase. It just needs to be easily readable and concise. It can be words or a phrase, as long as it's big writing and easy to read. Yeah. Otherwise, just put it in and we'll work it out. What it is that you're feeling like you want to. Hold on to it. Is everyone done? Okay. Right, so now the next piece. It's all good. So the next piece is that we're going to put all of these papers on the floor so that we have a map to see what we have. So the first thing is just going to be to lay them out randomly. But as soon as we see connections, and now there are two levels that we do this. If it's exactly the same word, then we put them very close to each other. But we don't put them on top of each other because we want to see how many pages we've got. So if we've got 5 people, if I can just use one example, if you don't mind me. If we've got 5 people who've got parenting on a piece of paper, then the parenting pile becomes here, but we don't put them under each other because we want to see that we've got 5 people putting parenting in. If it's close to parenting, but it's a different word, give it its own little space, but put it maybe close. So we're going to be doing that together, so it's another moment of delicious chaos, and then we'll see what we've got. And then there'll be a next step after that. And so I'm going to really, when I do this, let's all be prompt because we've got to maximize the time. Okay, so let's do it. Lay out the papers and let's make the connections between the words.
So this is a job we have to do together. And pop it on the floor, because then we can walk around and see. What might be helpful, actually, is to have everyone put their paper on the floor, and then a few people come through and start the process. Yeah. Ah, it's life. So everyone put your paper on the floor, please. The winds of Tawhiri, yeah. Having a say. All right, and then let's stand on the outer circle. Let's be on the rim of this, and then let's do the connecting. So if you feel compelled, you can start. But let's just not have too many of us. There we go. We've got grieving. I was reading that upside down. End of life caring. Creativity and care. Nourishment. So a few of you stepping forward would be helpful, and then let's just organize it, but not disability. So I have a feeling we need to do this in another way. So now that you've seen where your word is in relation to others, maybe just take your own word where... We're going to do this in a slightly other way. So what I'm going to suggest is that we just go into the next step and then organize as we go. So how this next piece works is that it's like a site visit. You have the opportunity to walk around, and this part we do in silence. So you get the opportunity to walk around and see the site map, see what's in the room. And then if we notice that there's something that could belong to somewhere where it's exactly the same word, we can then make those shifts. But just a noticing, so walking around and seeing what's there. And then you'll see I'll raise my hand because I'm going to ask you a question. And then that's going to help you with positioning yourself. But in that process of walking around, I invite you to notice your response. If there's something, and it might be a thinking response, it might be a heart response, but it could also be a body response. And it could be that you're really drawn to something, or it could be that you're really activated, or even triggered. But, you know, it's a range. But so I'm inviting curiosity around where you might want to begin. But for now, just do that, I guess, an internally unhurried, even if we're working with that Gregorian clock, but allowing yourself to take in what's here and to find your way into where you might want to perch for a bit. Okay, so off you go. I'm taking it from the fact that there's less movement in the room, that it means we've hopefully been able to see most of what's there. So I invite you now to do some discerning. And that is around, in this moment, where would I like to place myself? And it might not be something that I brought in. It might be that I brought in parenting and I find myself now wanting to work with nourishment. So we're allowing what the collective has brought in to infuse into just where I am in this moment and a conversation that is where I'd like to begin. And that discerning is up to you. And what's helpful is if we can cluster around wherever that word is. Now, if your group is a little too large around one word or one area, then I suggest you make it into sort of not more than about 3 people, because with the time we have, we want to make sure everyone has a voice, opportunity to voice, so 3 or 4 people. But it is helpful if we can see where the clusters of interest are, when we see what the collective has brought in. So before we go into conversation, we're just going to pause and see where we've landed in the map. Does that make sense? Okay. So find your way and choose a place. Just for this moment. Ideally, we'd have a big wānanga with a week to look at all of these. And just staying with the quiet for the moment, please. That's okay. Just so we can see where people land. And if you feel like you're pulled in 3 directions, sorry for you, make a choice, just for today and for now. Okay, rather than spending any time naming the clusters, we'll get to that when we get to the harvest. So what I invite you to do now is to, if you can just notice, maybe just, if we can do a little count. Yeah, I see I'm getting tempted into that now. Let's just do a little count into, before you go into sort of smaller groups, how many people are around one particular cluster. You don't have to say it out loud now, but I will ask you to say it a little later. So just notice how many are sort of feeling like they're around where you are. You know, is it 1, or you're out in a corner on your own? Are you, yeah. And then take yourselves into that conversation, and you'll have about 5 minutes, to be honest. It's not long. So, focus your conversation. You find yourself on your own. It's good. Two's plenty. Two's ideal. Ah, connect. So if your group is larger than 3 or 4, you might want to choose to make it into 2 groups around that area. So the reason I'm pausing you is to bring your attention to the fact that there's not a lot of time and you want to bring all the voices in. So it's, you know, this is like the juiciness for conversation is there, but let's make sure all the voices are in and maximize, think of it as speed dating, you know, that kind of concept. And then make sure all the voices are in so that you know where those conversations can continue. Because ideally now, it would be lovely to go into, how do we work with thinking, feeling into doing? But that feels a bit speedy. And although the time we have might allow us to go a little in that direction, what's most important at the moment is who are the voices in the room and what are people interested in? Okay, so I'm going to, with that in mind, go back into giving you a few more moments just to, as a group, be in conversation. Thank you. Is it okay to continue?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, but that would mean so 1:45, so I have to 5 to. Okay, so it is time to harvest from each group briefly. Okay, all right, thank you. Sorry, I just wanted to check in with you. Sorry to take you. You have 1 more minute. You have 1 more minute, everybody. 1 more minute. It's a little too soon to harvest, I know, but let's harvest what we can. So now we're going to move in a moment into harvesting from the groups. So what is it? And it's really whoever says you should do it, it's usually meaning when you point the finger at who else should do it, it might be you that needs to do it. But somebody in the group to just encapsulate, and you can decide as a group what those points are, but just to give us a little bit of a taster, appetizer of what your conversation has yielded. And then, will you help me, Kelly? Or maybe I can, oh yeah, that's good. So we'll have a roving mic to come to each group to then allow that harvest to come. So whoever's going to be in that group, when it comes to a next group, just raise your hand so we know where to find you, and then we'll give you the mic. But you have 30 seconds to decide who your voice person's going to be, if you can just decide that in your group. And as soon as we see the first hand up, we'll begin. Whoever's ready, the first group. Right, we've got a group that's ready. Can I just suggest that you don't make notes? Don't make notes. Don't make notes. This is not, we're not interested in perfection here. We're interested in just whatever comes like as just off the cuff, from the heart, from the, you know, that's all fine. It doesn't need to capture everything. That would be impossible. So we just want a taste of what your group has been in conversation about, and we'll start off with Bex. Thank you, Bex.
Kia ora. Our group discussed connection, disability, the healthcare workforce and care work and health, and ageing, and the way in which all of those are connected to each other, and particularly the unpaid care work that is needed for all of those areas.
Hands up, a group that's ready next.
Kia ora tātou. We had quite a wide-ranging discussion from end-of-life care through to agriculture. And we talked a lot about grieving in various different aspects, and also the importance of ritual kind of came out as a core theme that we all kind of identified with.
Well, kia ora tātou. Our group was gathered around nourishment, promoting flourishing and well-being of residents or people, and we kind of talked about how alternative food systems and green spaces can influence the well-being of people, and I was interested in it from a promoting flourishing aspect about celebrating the wins. So these two amazing people are going to be producing some cool research in the next few years that we'll all be able to share. Yeah.
Hi there. We had end of capitalism, distress, disorientation, reorientation, reworlding, and energy. So there's a bit of a transitional, perhaps, trajectory there through some liminal space, the need to grieve and make space for turning away, but also to rest before we turn to what is new. And I'm just going to pass to David to share a little Lunig.
Is this actually on? Doesn't seem like it's doing anything.
Doesn't feel.
We remembered Michael Lunig, Australian political cartoonist who has these characters, Vasco Pajama and Mr. Curly, and one of them in a letter said, "What's worth doing and having?" And Mr. Curly said, "Vasco, it's very important that you rest and feel your noble tiredness. Everywhere around, people are rushing and pushing down fatigue, and it's a poisonous thing."
So with rest in mind, something of hospicing the old and midwifing the new.
Kia ora. I'm standing next to some pieces of paper that say time, patience, time and care, perceptions and uses of time with caregiving. We spent the time in whakawhanaungatanga getting to know each other. That's basically all we did, because we really want to, I guess, illustrate that those are the things that we value in time, and just in that sort of perceptions and uses of time with caregiving, that how important it is to spend that time to get to know each other. So that's what we did.
Excellent.
Hello. We also just got to getting to know each other, but I just noticed creativity and care and the role of making, which is what attracted us, is adjacent to nourishment and promoting flourishing, and I think we would have got to a connection there, but we spoke about soil, how to care for soil. This is Hannah's master's, putting our hands into soil, which is what Sonia was talking about, and I was just thinking about what Stephen and I were talking about yesterday, and making and caring for soil, which Hannah called the fundamental source. Yes, that's right, the base of life. So that's where we were. Thank you.
Kia ora everyone. There was Trish, Thomas and myself, Bev, and ours was around participatory decision making. I don't know why I had to look down, there's only 2 words down there. And I think part of our kōrero was around disillusionment, really, in the current ways that it's done, the difficulty of doing it, but also the need, even when you can bring everybody into the space, ensuring that there's the follow through from the kōrero that has occurred. Was there anything? And just, yeah, how does, if we're shifting to a more of a care economy system, how can that also re-innovate so that that can actually get traction? Is that? Oops, sorry.
Kia ora tātou. So our group, we have a few common words in our papers down here. Aroha and love, and mokopuna features in most of our tiles down here. We spoke quite a bit, or a few of us spoke to mokopuna, and we have this beautiful word here, mokopuna tanga, as like a, sort of like a concept of making decisions based on outcomes for mokopuna. And we sort of just talked about how this is important for, an important framing for, recentering the purpose of economic decision making. If we centre mokopuna, then we're also centering, the next 3, 6+ generations, and also, I think, Diana, you had a nice point as well about like it also sort of going upwards as well into our responsibilities as mokopuna to our elders as well. And yeah, we sort of just, variously spoke to that. And also there was a last tile here, mokopono, aroha and reworld. And we sort of made a point about, mokopono and aroha being ways that we can lead to rewilding, or could be a guidance towards creating new possibilities within the world, but there also being tensions as well, to achieving these, from external factors as well. Often, community groups are always based on mokopuna tanga and aroha tanga, but then there can be external pressures as well to achieving that, and those were our kōrero. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou. We had a very small group, just 2 of us, and in front of us was consumption and investment. And I know they don't sound the most exciting topics, but we're thinking, what happens if you rework those very economic terms with care at the centre? So our conversations were about that, what that might look like in community. And for me, I'm interested in consumption and not wealth care. So how do we begin to reconfigure those things in meaningful ways? And of course, we've got no answers. So if anyone has, see us at lunchtime. That'll be great.
Kia ora tātou. Lucky last. Our team have papers that feature the word care, connection, or relational, and place. So there was a tiny sort of thread between 2 students and 2 people working, and recognising the role of place and having a relationship to place in order to provide the care. Anyone else?
Not quite. We connected around sort of childcare, caregiving, parenting. So we talked about, I guess, harnessing these beautiful concepts of care for the really relentless, invisible task of often raising children, and the harm this nuclear family concept has caused for a lot of families. Really centre to that for me, for us all, was, I guess, parental health and well-being. And also we kind of really talked about the role of how we can think about creating places and spaces and materialities that are health promoting and well-being promoting for that parental care, so it's not always reliant on individual people, but how we can create those spaces that can nourish that care without one person doing one thing all the time. So, yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora. Oh, that was rich. Just a little taste. Felt very rich. And so I invite you now to just, in this conversation with this group of people that you've landed, just to close that moment. Take a moment to close with each other and notice if there are any thoughts that are now influenced by hearing someone else's korero from across the room that you wish you'd thought of and brought into yours. And all of this is to weave so that when we go out to lunchtime, we use our time wisely. We enjoy our meal and we use our time wisely. Where are the conversations we want to continue? So just to close, and then we're going to sing something to close. So, okay.
You okay with that? Take it enough. It's not captured in there. It'd be amazing. It's just a perfect post.
Oh, that would be visual. Yeah, actually, that's a good thing to remember for the next time.
I've worked with some amazing ones, but not in this country yet. I do love one that's... I'm just going to throw it out there as a wish list, actually.
So it was... I always know this exercise has been successful when nobody pays any attention to me bringing it to a close. So as a way of closing, I'd love to, I've recently, there's a song, so if you're ever in Papaioia, Palmerston North on a Tuesday between 12 and 12:30, in the city library, there is a time for waiata. And it happens every Tuesday, and the musicians are volunteers, and people who randomly come by come. And so this is a song that and it's the same songs each time, beautiful waiata. And this is a 660 song, and I'm hoping that someone knows the te reo words off by heart that can help with that line, but it's just the piece of the chorus, the mana is my mountain, Aroa is my sea, whānau is my waka, and all of this is me. And if someone knows the te reo version of that, you can lead that, please, because I'm still a beginner. Who knows the song? Hands up. Not that song? Okay, well, let's just do it. I'm not a confident soloist, so I'd love it if you join. So, mana is my mountain, Aroha my sea, whānau is my waka, and all of this is me. Mana is my mountain, Aroha my sea, whānau is my waka, and all of this is me. Someone want to do the te reo as our last? It's very similar. I mean, it's just the middle words. It's just the tears and the... I get them. I get, especially under pressure, I feel shy. Thank you, everybody, for your engagement, connection, sharing. We'll continue into having some delicious kai and ongoing conversation. And also, if you do need a little bit of rest somewhere on the side, I had a 3-minute nap here yesterday. When you're received in this house, that is possible. So, kia ora.